And we are back. Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much for that, gentlemen. It was a little bit hairy canary. Sorry about that. Just trying to figure everything out. Did I call all those in favor on that one?
On the recess?
No, on
yes.
Yes.
We're at 9.
Thank you. All right, 9.1. Do you want to read that one?
That council authorized the issuance of a development variance permit for 2026-01 for the South Peace Bible Missionary Church located at 4919 48th Avenue.
Seconded by Councilor Gravel. Discussion? Yep.
Well, just out of curiosity, so this was brought forward, we sent it out to the public, a zone of folks to offer their input. Was there any input offered by the public that would determine our proceedings?
Through your worship, we did have one member of the public come in that was expressed some concerns about the development. I think it's a neighbor next to the property. I think some of the concerns we were able to, I hope provide a little bit of assurance or a little bit more information on. We did encourage the person to send in a letter if they did have genuine concerns. This time of writing or posting the agenda, we haven't received anything.
Would the nature of these complaints significantly impact the DBP? Is it something that is a long-term impact to this resident or something more specific we could be aware of?
Yeah, it's an awkward spot to speak for the resident because they didn't say that they, necessarily wanted me to relay their concerns forward, but basically the questions centered on whether or not there would be access or a new access to the property from, I believe, 48th. So like from the curb itself, which we don't see plans in the church that's going to be the case. And I think the other concern, there were questions about, I should say, was about the use that might be generated from the extension or the addition that's proposed. Again, that's not something that's totally contemplated for, via the development variance permit process. But yeah, that was the nature of the question.
It's a washroom, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a two-story addition. So theoretically, there could be more, activities for church purposes. It could come along with it, but the upstairs has a washroom in it.
Okay, I'm going to call the question then. All those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried. Thank you. 9.2, the council directs staff to initiate the 2026 Spruce Up Main Street program as presented in the report titled Spruce Up Main Street and dated April 8th, 2026. Seconded by Councillor Wall. Thank you. Councillor Wall.
I know initially we were talking about spruce trees. Now that we're doing maple trees, maybe we should have it maple up Main Street.
Boom, boom, cha moment. Yeah. Well, it's maple and aspen, is it not? Or it's maple and...
There's a large tree that we were looking at that was mostly for bank stabilization. The 50th was, fully subscribed to trees. Given that we got one of the grants that we went for, we're thinking that we might request a change to just do the full, maple canopy on 50th every December.
I'm excited. I'm happy that we're putting the trees back. I think the residents are going to be very excited. And yeah, I was very, very happy to see that this is so quickly turned around too. Are we going to be putting something up, like a rendering or something when the time comes of what it would potentially look like for the residents and they can...
This was something I was insistent on last fall, and I arguably delayed probably shouldn't,
throw yourself under the bus, but yeah.
Well, arguably I slowed things down by insisting on a rendering. We have done a couple with AI, but they look terrible. So we'll see what we can do. The idea behind this is basically in the economic development strategic plan, Beautify or developing a bit of a task list to improve the streets that are indicated in the report has been identified. So the idea is that if council likes the approach that we have in here, that we'll begin contacting the folks that are listed, particularly the Kuskookee Museum, Mayor Daniel Beach, myself, Chad, Blair, and Tayo will be facilitating, our economic development officer will be facilitating just a conversation about some small things that we can do to spruce up downtown, recognizing the limited budget that we have. Once that's complete, the idea would be that we would build a plan for council's approval that we could shop out for grant grants. There's one NDIT grant for downtown revitalization that we could go for if we have a plan that's kind of in place saying, hey, this is what we're hoping to do over the next couple of years.
Wonderful. No, this looks fantastic. I'm super excited. Any other questions? All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Wonderful job. Thank you. Okay, 9.3. This is just for information.
That's correct, Your Worship.
Okay. Recommend that council receives for information. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Whittle. Any questions? Councilor Rabble?
So it's, my understanding is this is within the CAO's purchasing approval piece, but that this is being brought forward just as because it's a unanticipated, but let's get it done kind of cost. And my understanding is that the monitoring of the outflow from the lagoon is a provincial requirement. So we're kind of stuck with having to purchase a new one, is my understanding. And that this previous one has failed us, but this new one should last us some time. Am I correct in that understanding?
That's correct. And the basis on which this is, like, this was identified during budget development last year, but we didn't have market pricing. We didn't have a good pricing basis to, put into the budget for this year. So basically, once those costs came in, we just said, okay, we know we have to do this. Let's go ahead with it.
Okay. Councilor Whittle?
Might predate you, Mr. Melkinson, but this is not the second or third time this has been replaced in the last 5 years.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we had, issues with this a couple years ago.
So the first time me and you ever replaced this with would have been in 2021.
That's where,
There are multiple meters.
And then we did in
out there,
2023.
There's an inflow meter and there's an outflow meter.
Oh, okay. Because I know we've had issues with meters over the last 5 years, and we've had a few that we've replaced now.
I think we've done the inflow meter, and this is our second outflow meter.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. Because I think this one has been replaced once.
Yeah.
With the
So-
expectation it would last 15 to 20 years, and it's
3 years
lasted
later.
3 years later. That was part of the initial concern and conversation that we had with Urban Systems of the fact that it did not last, and it was projected to last. And so if I'm understanding, this is working with a different company, is that correct?
On the install, yes.
Yes. Thank you. That's the step forward that we are taking.
Cool.
Okay, wonderful. I'm gonna call the question, then all those in favor?
Sorry, one
Oh,
question. Did we have any, like for the cost of this, did we have any money left over in that lagoon budget from the grants and stuff that we got? And would this qualify underneath that still?
The notion from, folks managing the project last fall, they were pretty emphatic that it wouldn't qualify under that it wouldn't be an eligible expense, in part because that funding envelope was disaster risk, resiliency, etc.
Oh, okay.
And the failure or the need to replace the meter itself wasn't necessarily related to the challenges that were experienced with the bank instability there.
Yeah, and then I imagine the cost of the meter versus the cost of the regulatory fine makes the meter very much worth it.
Yeah.
From what I've seen in the past. So.
yes.
$10,000, $2 million.
With no.
We have to get Councillor Wall up there with the pump for a long, long time.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? Don't you dare. That's unanimous and carried. Moving on to item 9.4. Councillor Will, do you want to read that one?
The council directs staff to prepare the amendment to section 3.3 of the official community plan bylaw number 1053/2025 in accordance with the draft statement incorporated in the report titled Village of Goose Scoopy Regional Context Statement and dated April 8th, 2026.
Okay, a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Wall. Discussion? Councillor Rattle?
So we recently approved our CP, but because of, a section of the Local Government Act, we were having to include a regional context statement. We did have a brief regional context statement. Now we're just adding a more in-depth one, and we just need to amend that.
Well, we were waiting for this one.
Yeah, we kind of held a general, because we wanted to get the OCP done and move forward. And so now we kind of left pause for that. So this has kind of come back. So does this result in, okay, so there's a couple of tangents. First tangent is, does this need to fully, we don't redact or redo the bylaw, we can simply just issue a correction. Is this the first motion that's associated with that in a process of multiple readings of it? Or is it simply just done and dealt with here? And then the second piece of it, my my understanding is that this meets the requirements. It mentions all the bits and bobs that we need to adhere to the local government act, right?
Mr. Malkinson?
I'm wondering if Council Wall has more questions, or if I should try.
No, it's I was just excited because we passed the bylaw so that we could change, make minor amendments to our OCP specifically for this. So it's like we did that out preparing for this.
Fair enough. For your worship, so the basis on this is the regional district recently undertook a regional growth strategy, and there's sections 446 to 448 of the Local Government Act require all local governments to amend their official community plan bylaws to basically reconcile with the key themes that are incorporated in the regional growth strategy. And basically it needs to meet the regional district satisfaction. So what I've done here is I've said effectively, here are the main key themes of the Peace River Regional District's regional growth strategy. Here are the policy objectives that the Village of Kooskupi has laid out in the official community plan. And here's where we think all of these, where everything kind of links up. Because I think the basic sense of what's encapsulated in 446 to 448 of the Local Government Act is that they can't be really at odds, or that, you know, the regional growth strategies that are embarked on via the regional district shouldn't be at odds with local government's you know, growth objectives that are outlined in its OCP. So basically this is an attempt to marry this. Fort St. John has completed theirs. I think Dawson Creek's in draft. Taylor, I believe, has completed theirs as well. So technically you guys have 2 years to do it, but let's get her done. Let's,
Yeah, not on the trot. I ask these questions for the public transparency of it all, yes.
My apologies, procedurally, this would be an official community plan. So if you folks ask me to prep the amendment to the OCP, I can do that in fairly short order. If you read it a first time, then basically I'll send it to the regional district board so that they can see whether or not they like what's done. There is this whole like dispute section that's outlined in the Local Government Act, which is a little bit dramatic.
Make it? Or didn't they make it though?
They made the regional growth strategy. This is us formally saying to them, hey, we think that all your goals that you have in your RGS, they align very well with the goals that we have in our official community plan. They're not at odds. So this is you folks saying to them, there's a linkage here.
But there's a possibility that they would disagree, I guess, that.
There's a legal possibility, but I don't think.
Again,
I would be very surprised if you guys.
Bringing synergy to
It would be surprised if they said we don't accept your support.
So this is an OCP amendment. So first reading goes to RD. RD says thumbs up. Second reading, referral to all the agencies. Third reading, public hearing, adoption.
Wonderful, thank you.
Any other questions? May I call the question then? All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 9.6. Councilor Wall.
That council approved the Village of Kooskupi strategic plan dated April 8th, 2026 as presented.
Councilor Wall.
On page 52 of the strategic plan, there's a minor omission from our strategic planning session. I believe that we agreed that we wanted drainage upgrades for our stormwater system to be added to our long-term plan. That doesn't appear to be in there.
It's on like page 8, page 52.
Page 52 of the agenda, yeah, that's correct.
Is it in the summary sheet?
No, I think it's in the action plan. The
Yeah.
strategic plan is what he's saying.
For stormwater system.
If we could make that minor amendment and then read it.
Sure. Did I miss that though? I genuinely don't remember.
So improved stormwater system is supposed to be long-term, is what you were saying.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's just moving it.
Oh wait, is it medium term?
It's in medium term, yeah. Because it's part of the infrastructure master plan, I think
it's
that's
a
what
multi-year.
Second
I
point.
think we agreed to have it in both medium term and long term, so we could do.
Because if you remember, sorry, but if you remember when Urban, I don't know if you've seen the map because it's been around for a while, but Urban did an assessment of the village and looked at drainage and everything, and they identified certain phases and ways to do it. So it's one of those things staff's been working on for a number of years, and yeah, like Mayor Beach said, it does tie into our infrastructure master plan, so that influences our master plan, and that's also influenced the paving work and work that staff's authorized over the last what, 2 years, 3 years now.
Well, if it's
My,
in medium term, I'm fine with it in medium term.
yeah, my understanding is it's in medium term and it's, coinciding with the infrastructure master plan, is that correct?
Yes, Your Worship.
Yes,
It's just my read of it was wrong. Never mind.
no worries. Any other questions regarding the strategic plan? Yes?
So this flows from the strategic planning session we had in January, and this is us just saying, okay, we've completed this, we're working on this, we're rejigging all these different priorities based off of our discussions and then hearing from the community. So it's really great, the things that we move forward, and I'm really proud of that. So thank you folks for that work.
That's great. Okay, I'm gonna call the question, then all those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Wonderful. Moving on to.
Is that a final reading?
What's that?
Is that our final reading of this?
Not a bylaw, you can just approve it.
Good. 9.6.
The council received the draft Village of Pooskoopi 1091-2026 bylaw for information and further that, actually, let me fix.
Okay. For information, seconded by Councillor Whittle. Thank you. Councillor Wall.
I have a lengthy motion.
I know, I'm sitting here wondering, so this is to be, hang on, let me formulate a thought. So in our and further is that they prepare the mail out. I'm wondering if the recommendation should be that prior to, because I wanted to include the mail out within your.
I think we should do the mail out as a separate
As a
motion.
separate thing?
Yeah, there's some concerns that Councilor Wall's gonna bring forward, for stuff that we discussed with the contractor that either got omitted or was missed. So, Councilor Wall, actually, we were talking about this earlier today too, is Councilor Wall's got a number of things that were in his notes that we had discussed that actually didn't make it to this draft. And I think too, with the fact that we got the draft on Monday, right? Personally, I've had a chance to read through it, but not go through it in the depth that it requires. So I think getting ahead of ourselves and talking about mailing out, because this is still gonna probably come back another 2 to 3 times before we.
All right, and the floor is yours, Councillor Wall. I apologize.
That's totally fine. I motion that council direct staff to amend the draft zoning bylaw as follows. And I'll give this to you after, Mr. Miller.
Got it.
Anyway, I've changed a couple of wording here. 1, fence heights. Amend the regulations for rear and interior side parcel fences in residential zones to permit a maximum height of 2.45 meters to accommodate standard prefabricated fence panel dimensions. 2, interior side setbacks. A, revise the minimum interior side parcel setback requirements in residential zones to 1.2 meters for both principal and accessory or auxiliary buildings and structures to align with the British Columbia Building Code. B, delete the existing provision respecting the minimum required separation distance between a principal building and any accessory building or structure on a residential parcel, and then substituting with the following, quote, on any parcel zoned for residential use, no accessory building or structure shall be located closer than 1.2 meters to any principal building. This wording aligns with the British Columbia Fire Code. 3, parking requirements. Reduce the minimum off-street parking requirement in residential zones to 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit, and further require 1 additional parking space per rental unit for bed and breakfast, short-term rentals, or similar uses. 4, permanent foundation definition. Included in the definition of permanent foundation in residential zones, be edited to explicitly include engineered screw pile foundations for mobile and modular homes. 5, off-street parking requirements. Remove section and point 5.6.1. Uses. Under section 7.6.1, M1, industrial, strike under the principal use trade contractor from point XIV, office trade contractor, remove the line trade contractor. This will align any office to have any use, not just an office or trade contractor. 7, commercial parcel lines. Under section 7.4.2 and 7.5.2, amend the rear parcel line setback for accessory and auxiliary structures from 1.5 meters to 1.5 meters to align with the BC Building Code and Fire Code. This will also allow space for dumpsters. 8, shipping containers under section 4.20, numbers 2 and 3. A, add that there is no limit to the number of containers in M, industrial zoning. And B, further remove section 4.20, number 3, DIII, which is the screen.
Yeah.
9, suites, section 4.24, number 8, V. Amend the height to 7 meters, maximum height. This will align secondary suites to the maximum heights of accessory and auxiliary structures throughout residential zoning.
And all of them?
That's all of them for now.
Okay, can I get a seconder on that?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor. Thank you, okay. Oh, I have a question for Mr. Malcolmson, but I don't want to interrupt his thought.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, type it out, it's right here.
That's good. I've got it typed up too. I was just adding in your new ones.
So with these changes, I know we've had extensive conversation over zoning, over what this is looking like. I'm gonna be on, I don't have a huge zoning background. This is the one thing I do often rely on contractors and this council for. I don't have a large zoning information hub. This is not in any way going to create any form of confusion, backlog, or extra work for anybody in the office by doing any of these changes. All I want to
No, like, I don't think these seem too bad. The only ones, I did have heads up on most of these from Councillor Wall. The shipping containers one, I recall a discussion about. Max height for accessory buildings to align with the other buildings that are in the zone. Seems okay to me.
Okay.
I don't see too many issues. I did review BC building code today and spoke with the building inspector about the 1.2 minimum setback. No objections there. That's anything closer, you know, Councillor Wall knows this, but anything closer, and that's where the fire protection requirements of the BC building code come in. And I did do a little bit of homework on the engineered screw piles. I think there's some easy amends that we could do to massage that in there. So I don't think this will be, you know.
This is not life or death.
Not at all. And honestly, this is kind of why this was the hope, you know, that, you know, you folks are kind of seeing the full thing for the first time. I definitely wanted to run this past you folks prior to doing any kind of further public communication on this, because I feel like this is a document that should come from council to the community. So yeah, no worries at all from my end.
Okay, wonderful. Councillor Whittle.
Just before we vote on this, Mr. Malcolmson, I emailed you earlier this week about some zoning changes in an area that was supposed to be zoned for economic development that was inadvertently still as commercial. Did you need that included in this motion?
It'd be nice, if you don't mind, Your Worship. If it's not to say that, you know, council didn't ask for it, it's just nice for me
Would you
to.
be,
And 10.
would you be all right with that amendment?
Yes, we already
Just so we can cover, because I emailed Mr. Malcolmson about it earlier, so.
Regional comprehensive development zone is what it was.
Yeah.
And 10, at a regional comprehensive development zone for the property known as the Hart Hotel.
Yeah, and I seconded that, so.
And
I'm good with my amendment.
That's something that we had agreed to during the.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier, and I just wanted to make sure that we're catching everything, because.
I think
Wonderful.
that's awesome.
Any questions? Yes, Councillor Ravel.
Ew.
75.
That's a lot. I appreciate it
It'll
though.
come back to us, and there might be others.
Yeah.
Well,
That's fine if it does, honestly.
Well, this is the thing, right? This is the village's zoning, and we want to make sure that we incentivize and encourage people to do what they need to do on their own properties. We've had all kinds of discussions with folks. Anyways, question I actually have is, I've noticed that the height limits have increased for principal and auxiliary or accessory structures. What was that max height for our fire department to be able to attend to?
It's like 10.58 or something like that.
Okay.
But 10.5 is what we have in there.
Yeah.
I did review the prior iterations of the zoning bylaw, and for principal dwelling and principal structure across most zones, this is held consistent. You know, so I didn't want to. There's flexibility in FUS. You folks might remember that bulletin that I emailed to you that stipulates some of the ladder truck requirements for heights of structures. There is flexibility in there for the number of structures within a particular area that can be permitted beyond that 10.5 meter max height. So I think that's probably where the flexibility in the think M1 and some of the commercial zones.
C3, I think. C2 or C3 goes to 13 meters.
That's right. Yeah, it goes a little bit higher. But anyhow, that's if that's what jumped out to you, jumped out to me too. But it seems congruent with prior iterations of the zoning bylaw, and I don't understand council being interested in wanting to revise things downward in that regard.
I think that's kind of what I'm getting at is, yeah, some of them didn't jump out with the larger structures for the larger zoning, but basically all I'm getting at is this zoning bylaw is presented, and with the amendments, we should be able to still have the appropriate attendance for emergency services with the capacities we currently have.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. The other peace of mind, I suppose, is as we folks do have mutual aid. In the event that there's something crazy that's happening, Lawson is 10 minutes away.
Yeah, that's if they're not engaged on something, and they also have to have protection for theirs, so we're better off to keep us in an area where it's very, very rare that we'll require it, because the other thing to remember is we do have a volunteer department. And, best case scenario, you're coming out of Dawson doing a speed limit, if you're on this end of Dawson, you're still 7 to 10 minutes to cruise, right? So it's something we should definitely keep in the back of our heads, and also that we don't have $7 million for a ladder truck.
Oh yeah, oh, my last stick in the mud.
Claire will be very sad to hear that.
You can tell them I'll talk to you.
Please don't.
Sorry.
There are a few nitpicky things that still bug me, but it's better on the whole. The thing that really still gets me is the following uses and no other uses are permitted in all the zones. That still bugs me.
I have another motion after this one.
Still bugs me. I really don't think that we're going to adapt to how the economy is going to evolve by stipulating very specific industries and businesses. I think we should have it on the flip side still. I've mentioned this previously, where it's exclude the bad stuff, everything else is okay. Versus this is a prescriptive list. If you're not doing that, sorry, go somewhere else. Which I don't think is the right move. But that's just the last sticking point I have.
Okay, Councillor Little.
Addressing your concern on that, because I get where you're coming from on that, and I agree with you, but at the same time, we don't want to open that door, and if we try to put everything that's permitted,
Yeah, that was.
and that's going to be very long, but could we potentially, and I'm just thinking out loud, but could we potentially add, or as amended and approved by council? So that when people read the bylaw and say, hey, I want to open this business, and because it's not listed, they're not going, oh, damn, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It says as approved and amended by council, so they realize, oh, hey, there is a process, even though there is, but a lot of people don't realize that there is a process for amendments.
Right.
But if we were to put that wording in there, or amended or approved by council, then it, as people read through it, if they don't have a very good understanding of bylaws, they can go,
Just wait till
okay.
my next motion, and then we know
Well,
where
we're
I'm
not
going
there
with
yet.
this.
We're standing
And Councillor
together.
Rabel made a very valid point, and I actually had the exact same concern when I was reading through it. Right in bold letters. No, I didn't, it says that in there, so
Right?
I don't know if that's making it too wordy or.
Well, it's like, what if I want a doggy daycare? Can't have it.
Let's move through the first motion that we currently have on the floor. Then any other questions regarding that motion? I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried. Councillor Wall.
My second motion is, I've noticed, my second motion would be to amend section 7.6 as under uses in industrial zoning. I feel there's a couple of omissions. Manufacturing would not be permitted under this bylaw, and neither would warehousing.
Under 7.6.
Under industrial, sorry. Is that not 7.6?
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Industrial.
Those are permitted.
They are permitted? I
The
must
following
have,
uses and no other are permitted in the M1 zone. Greenhouses, storage, building supply establishment, fuel stations, wrecking, brewery, distillery, animal facilities, feed, storage, equipment sales, commercial storage, commercial greenhouse, food processing, machine equipment sales, manufacturing, community storage, office trade contractor, oil field and supply services, storage, warehouse, vehicle sales, accessory building and structures, and accessory building units.
okay, so it is in there. Okay, I just missed it. But my thing is, it's what Councillor Woodall and Councillor Rabel are getting at, is I would love it if under that, I don't know the process of this, is that if we could add something
You
where.
would like to change 7.6.1 under purpose where it says following uses and no other are permitted.
And no other, yeah.
You would like it to say no other permitted in M1 zone unless amended or approved by council, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah,
Something
kind of
like that,
throughout the
yeah.
entire document when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I can try to add a disclaimer in there to say that this is, you know, like to make it clear to the reader that, you know, hey, there is a process by which, you know, new uses can be contemplated and added into the bylaw.
I would like something like that.
Because I think all of us are aware of people that have looked at our bylaws as they exist right now, and this is kind of what triggered some of this for us, is they looked at our existing bylaws and didn't realize that there's a process to amendment, or it's a lengthy process or a costly process, not realizing it, and it's scared business or people away from developing here, so.
So Councillor Wall,
I'm not sure of the exact wording.
what I'm looking for you to do is maybe put a recommendation on the floor to direct staff to put something in saying it.
I make a motion that council directs staff to add a disclaimer in front of each zoning category that,
As amended or approved.
as amended by or approved by council, or how,
For new
I'll-
usage.
for different uses, that the way the staff
There's
says it,
options.
There's options, yeah. The way you can word it in legalese to make it.
Can I get a second? That's seconded by Councillor Will. Any discussion regarding recommendation on the floor? Yes, Councillor Rebel?
So this would be open from residential all the way to institutional parks, which is a footnote.
Just a footnote, yep.
If you wanna have their AI robot factory, like, you know, we can, you know, that's, we discuss it.
And this would be under purpose, like the principal use
Yeah,
and accessory
it's
uses.
generally under, purpose is kind of where you would add that, so
Yeah.
that's probably the best.
The
place.
purpose is this, we are expecting this, but if you have something that's close enough,
Yeah,
like you can still, like it's not fully exclusive, there is still that option to see things without an entire zoning amendment.
okay. Any other questions? Do I call the question, then all those in favor? That's unanimous and carried. I need the recommendation for the mail out.
I think,
Oh.
I think you folks probably wanna see.
Yes,
the
no,
bylaw.
you're right, we definitely do. I did wanna say, it's a cute mail out.
You like the mail?
I love the little cartoony mail out.
It's lovely.
I think it's adorable, so I can't wait till it's done and gets to go out. How, you know, the elementary teacher in me is like, oh my gosh, can we float up and then send the kids cards and they can drive along the road? But we'll just stop, sorry. But it's so cute, I love it, it's absolutely adorable, and I can. Okay, moving on to 9.7. The council receives the iCompass implementation for information. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Whittle. Discussion?
Your worship,
Yes, Mr. Wilkinson.
this is just a heads up to council on where the, upgrades, that have been long discussed, are kind of at. You know, if there's no objections to the, Bluetooth mouse, iPads, etc., we're gonna be, ordering, new iPads, and we'll have that little, cabinet thing here in council chambers. And, pretty soon we will be migrating to, you know, the iPads, and you'll be able to use the voting system to actually vote.
I'm very excited. I really, really am. I think it's gonna be so cool. I know, Councillor Rebel.
I want that to stay on paper.
But,
Who seconded this one?
it was motioned by me, seconded by Councillor Whittle. Yes, Councillor.
Well, the nice thing too with like we're moving to voting, because like right now it says passed or not, but like, and there's sometimes just question about the vote, who
Yeah.
voted where. At least with going to iCompass, it's a digital record of it that's
I love it.
available, and you know, who knows, like with our video staff might have the availability, just like the regional district does, after a vote comes up, you can actually show the results.
Show
of the
who
vote.
voted on what, yeah.
Right,
Nope.
so, then people can do it, and then like it, I don't know, I'm really excited about this, cause I really like the idea of the autonomous, you know, of the autonomous vote, and it allows people that have almost a bit of an autonomy to voice what they truly believe instead of worrying about what somebody else is doing, or, you know,
Yeah.
what, you know, little eye glances across the room that it.
And in small communities like ours, this is probably the best way to actually go. And then you're not feeling influenced by your neighbor who lives down the road when you voted against grading her alley or something, right? It's, yeah, no, this is.
We're not grading it out.
It's good, it doesn't need it.
So I think, so basically it'll be, we'll have, maybe a session with council, like once we have these, tools ready to go and the iPads are ready, we'll be inviting councilors at their own convenience to come in and just do a run-through session on the iPads so that you're all comfortable and confident using it. And, video hosting and integration administration, agenda minutes, video indexing, and the Facebook live streaming. That'll probably be a little bit longer, but once we get the training done and the access to iCompass, that'll be the next step for council, right? So,
Wonderful. I'm very excited. Yes, Councilor Whittle.
And if I remember correctly from the policy that we had on this, because we went through all this, for Councilor Rabble, paper still is available.
Yes, always. Yes, yes, yes.
Right, I know the regional district, I was on the regional district board when they implemented the digital, and like, it was a good system, but like, they still, even to this day, if you watch the meetings, if somebody's computer's having issues, they still raise the hand to vote, right, or if, you know, you're not comfortable, you can still raise your hand and, right, so you have options, is what it gives you. And the accountability, like I said, I'm really excited about the accountability part.
Okay, I'm gonna call the question then.
Half and half.
All those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried, thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 10, correspondence. I don't really have anything particular I'd like to lift. Does anybody have anything that they would like to?
there's a really exciting one for the,
For me?
well, for council as a whole, I believe.
I have a few things. I would like to lift 10.3, 10.5, and 10.6.
3, 5, and 6, okay. Anybody else like to lift anything?
Oh, and 10.7.
And
We should talk
10.7.
about that.
Yeah, they really do want your answer on that. So.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, that's
And maybe a general thank you to, like, congrats to Tumblr.
yeah, nope. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I make the recommendation that council receive 10.1, 10.2, 10.4, for information. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Wall. Just before we start, I'd like to say, awesome job to the district of Tumbler Ridge. I was sad to hear that they came in second, but the fact that they came so close was phenomenal. And honestly, while it was a race for them to win something, I think that the community really needed something to focus and to align them all. And I think that's what that actually did. I think that brought everybody back out. It brought the community spirit of Tumbler Ridge to the forefront, and it helped people create some of those, create and encourage those connections that you have in small communities that often leave the largest impact. So I think phenomenal job. I know everybody was voting for them like crazy. I was hearing that like one person was like, this isn't fair, after 8 votes, it won't let me vote anymore. So people were definitely on there loading and voting. So congratulations on their second place, phenomenal job, and just such a beautiful thing to see in Tumblr during such a difficult time, so wonderful. Yes.
If I may add something to your comment, there is both the communities of Tumbler Ridge and Tabor.
It was Tabor, yes.
They've just had a really rough go of it this year, and they were both very well deserving of the money. I'm happy. I'm sad to see it not go to Tumblr, but I'm still very happy that it went to Tabor.
Well, I seen a kind of a cool suggestion online after Tabor won, because Tabor doesn't have an arena right now. They were saying the first place should go to Tabor, so they get the $250,000 for their arena, and then Tumbler Ridge should get the NHL hockey game. Because they have an arena.
Split it, right? 50-50, yeah. No, exactly.
Well, congratulations to both of them. Like, even $100,000 for Tumbler Ridge for upgrades is
huge. No, all right. All those in favor of receiving those for information? Okay, that is unanimous and carried. All right, Councillor Wall, if you want to take on 10.3.
10.3, the council received the correspondence from the Minister of Public Safety for information and discussion.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Rabble. All those in favor of information and discussion? Yes, thank you. There you go.
Perfect. So it looks like we've got a reply directly from the Minister of Public Safety federally regarding the firearms buyback program, and I'm not super happy with his response, to be honest.
the responsive. It's the federal government pointing the finger.
Yeah, he's the federal minister. We have a letter. This is my perspective of it. We have a letter from the federal minister saying, yes, this is an issue, but it's the federal government's response. He's the minister in the federal government, so
It's
I
the same
don't.
one that said it's a voluntary program,
It's
but
a voluntary
but if you
program,
don't
they're sending the
volunteer to
cops.
do the program, they're gonna send the cops to your house.
Or the army. Yesterday he mentioned the army.
Well, the nice thing is with FIFA, the cops are gonna be short-staffed anyway.
I feel like we should respond to this letter in some capacity, asking how he defines a voluntary program if they're going to be using RCMP resources to seize people, law-abiding citizens' firearms.
I think I understand your frustration, but I don't think it's a great idea to get into a back and forth spat via letter. What I think is a great opportunity is that when we're at the UBCM, we should seek out the Honorable Minister and have a
For
conversation.
an FCM, he'll be an FCM.
Perfect. Have a conversation with them.
I just don't like the fact that he's pointing the finger at, oh, it's not my responsibility, and then points the finger at his own office.
Yes, and I think we can get into a back and forth with the minister all day long, and we're just gonna keep getting the same AI generated whatever. I think it's better, as we've often experienced, when you sit down and actually have a conversation with somebody. Especially people who are so far from the mark of rural living. I think
Understatement of the century.
understatement of the century, that's right. That's the most politically nice way I can put it. So what I'm thinking is we make a note of our nice minister here and go find him at FCM when we're all there.
Is it too late to request a meeting with him at FCM?
I don't know. I think so. I think the deadline for that.
I have confidence in your headhunting skills.
I have
think
confidence
you
in
will
your
find-
headhunting skills too.
confidence with you.
That poor man, like, if he is found alone in a bathroom, you will track him down. Like, it just, there is.
I'll find him.
I complete faith that you will absolutely find him. Yes. Councilor
I
Ryan.
think my name is Don.
I appreciate that we received a response at all. However, I find the logic that underpins this program doesn't make sense, where they say that it's to address firearms violence and combat crime. If a legal firearm owner ever commits a crime with a firearm, they are no longer in possession of that and can no longer acquire them. So I think we actually have in the firearms program one of the best in the world, one of the most top-notch ones that is able to respond appropriately and accordingly to incidences. It's already extremely stringent, and yes, there are flaws with it, absolutely. But I think this has gone too far, and I appreciate that we've got a response at all, but I think that as jurisdictions, both provincially and municipally and territorially, say no to this firearms attempt, we continue to ensure our rights and keep moving forward with this. Keep moving forward and saying no, we don't agree with it, because this is a democracy, for goodness sakes. And there are very, very many folks that practice things in a very variety of ways and traditions and cultures and whatnot, and I think it's just trampling on all of it. And I think the underpinning of the whole program is a logical fallacy.
He does state, though, that the RCMP are managed locally. So I'm curious as to what we could do with our local detachments so that we're not wasting our very valuable RCMP resources on a firearms program that I don't feel the community necessarily needs.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that this is the top of their list of priorities.
It's not, but I'm curious if we could bring that up to them and say we would not want this.
I had
Because he's saying that
I
he's
had
on
coffee
this.
with the detachment commander last week, and it was one of the topics that I brought up when I was discussing.
We'll talk about it. Maybe.
So basically what it boils down to, I was gonna cover it in my report, but basically what it boils down to is, as it sits right now, they could put her on the RCMP, but the RCMP do not have capacity, especially with FIFA coming up. I was just in an emergency preparedness workshop here a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that we were advised is that RCMP, starting here in end of May, beginning of June, pretty much straight through the rest of summer are going to be running at limited capacity because they have to send so many officers down to deal with FIFA for the World Cup down in Vancouver from the BC detachments. They're pulling RCMP officers from all over, and there was a percentage of, they were mandated that a certain percentage of the officers within a municipality needed to be available and go down. They've also went through and they've also started canceling leave for, nobody can take leave for the RCMP until after FIFA's done, and then after FIFA's done, then they've got to give everybody leave. So realistically, we're looking at RCMP staffing shortages provincially and especially locally top of like the staffing issues we already have, this is gonna compound it. So like really going after legal gun owners is
They're not.
so low on the priority list that I honestly,
I like
unless they're given a reason to, right, they're not gonna come bang on your door.
Nope, so I think there's a great opportunity for you to speak out to the minister and have a wonderful conversation with him, and I look forward to hearing how it goes.
I met him in Tumbler Ridge, right? He knows who I am.
Even better. Okay, I'm gonna call the point, well, we already did that, okay, so moving on to 10.5.
I want to thank the city of Dawson Creek for their letter of support. And I'm curious on
We're receiving that for.
information discussion.
Can I get a
Second.
second by Councilor Rabble? All those in favor? Yes, thank you.
I want to thank Dawson Creek for the letter of support. I am curious about one thing. They gave us a letter of support regarding our private property rights. However, not for the PST on municipal contractors. I'm curious, did we send that out to them? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
That would make sense. Yes.
Why did you send that to them? Wasn't, you folks asked me to send 2 of the 3 to all the municipalities in the province?
Well, one just got totally shunned.
No,
Okay,
I think what it
that
was is,
I think it was
we got
the
tunnel
approach.
vision, and we went after, as Mr. Melkinson was saying, we went after the shiny thing, and we forgot about the other one. Well, not forgot, it got
Or-
shuffled to the side.
Third child of this council has just been absolutely neglected.
We love them all equally.
It's still important. Equally the third.
Yes. Yes, Councilor Wall.
I am curious, I don't want to put staff on the spot here, however, I'm probably going to. Do you know how many letters of support we have received?
We've received, I think, the one that I mentioned at the last meeting, I think Greenview, sent along
And then
their
this one.
interest, City of Dawson Creek. I haven't, no bells are ringing for any other formal communication that got back to my office about, co-sponsorship or letters of support. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened though, right?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on to 10.6, who wants to talk on that one?
The council received correspondence from the Ministry of Housing and Municipal Affairs for information and discussion.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Whittle. All those in favor? Unanimous and carried. Floor is yours, Councilor Rabble.
All right, so seems like Bill 17 and 18. Seems like Bill 18 parental leave. Okay, fair enough. They're just kind of extending those privileges to municipally elected officials.
I find that a very strange thing to do, but maybe that's just.
Well, it's because they're restricting us in so many capacities with this, and they're taking away our means of having our own code of conduct.
I think it's a
No,
stick
no, no.
and a carrot.
It's the parental leave thing I found very strange.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
You can go on a super long leave for 26 consecutive weeks
And can't be removed.
and can't be removed.
Mm.
How does that work for an election and all that kind of stuff? Like, that's what I found.
they're adding that. as
Or the
well.
end of term, whichever is earlier.
Oh,
So they're,
okay.
they're adding that to their provincial as well, which would allow MLAs to.
Yeah, I found the parental leave thing really, really weird. I'm so totally stealing your moment, please.
Fair enough. My main concerns with 17, 18, we're not employees. We serve the public, and so we're not actually employees, really. So I understand trying to extend those benefits to elected officials, but I think elected officials are essentially volunteering in their roles. They get a small stipend or whatnot, but extending all the leaves. Anyways, I kind of get it, but I also think that it has to find a line somewhere, right? They're not employees. Anyway, 17 is the real one, so that I'm upset with. I'm concerned that a provincially mandated code of conduct centralized within the provincial authority that limits the powers of this council to determine what's best for our individual communities. It's just I feel as though it's another vector of provincial overreach into our authority as municipalities, and I don't think it's the right thing to do. They required previously under another bill a couple of years ago that every municipality either create a code of conduct at their own expense. I think there were some grants that helped facilitate that, or send them some reasoning as to why they don't have a code of conduct. Anyways, I understand that almost all municipalities now have them in BC, and other provinces saying whatever to all that work. Now we're going to centralize it within a provincial authority that also restricts the powers of the office of mayor, and then also has a whole variety of things which directly go after. Anyways, I think that it's an overreach, and I think it's a degradation of municipal authority.
Councillor Little?
I agree with you to an extent, but what I think is a bigger detriment to this office, anybody that sits in this office, is the fact that the provincial government has had to step in and do this because people don't have enough quorum or respect for this office, like these positions, or these positions, and can't carry themselves with the proper demeanor that an elected official should. Yes, everybody's going to have their slip-ups. This village included in the past, as well as multiple communities throughout the province, right, have had issues where they haven't had a code of conduct in place, where they've had people that have sat in one of these seats that have spoken appropriately on behalf of the village or their communities, or made inflammatory comments, and there's been no way to deal with that, right? There's been no mechanism for it. Basically, you could stand up here prior to this and say that, you can say whatever you want and be talking, out of your back end, and there's nothing we can do about it. The sad part is that it's come to the point where the provincial government's had to step in and say, hey, look, here's the line, and it's no different than, as a parent, I expect my kids to, maintain themselves with a certain level of decorum and respect when they're in the community, right? And when they don't, I get the phone call and dad's gonna come down and have a conversation. That's essentially what the province is doing to municipalities, because as elected officials, we've proven that we can't be trusted not to say stupid shit. Apologies. But that's what it's boiled down to, and it's not like it's happened.
Don't say that once this is passed.
Well, it said that, and you know what? It's true. Like it's a fact. It's a statement. It's a true statement. It's not inflammatory. So the thing is, though, it's one of those things that it's got to that point. So it's sad that it has to. I agree that we shouldn't have to have something like this. But like as we've seen within our community, within multiple communities within this province, that even when council does try and stand up to a mayor, right? Basically, they can sit there and say, oh, you can't represent us, and they still have all the authority. They just don't go to as many meetings. They still get paid the same. They still have all the other authorities within the building or office or within the community, right? So it's sad that it's come to this, but I honestly think that it's needed. And there's some municipalities in the province that didn't adopt or didn't develop their own code of conduct. Right in the village, we've developed one. From what I've seen from this, and ours are not a whole lot different, right? But the fact that municipalities pushed back and said, hey, no, we don't need a code of conduct. We have responsible adults, which obviously not all municipalities do, right? So the province had to come down and mandate it. So I agree with you that, yeah, it sucks that they're stifling people to an extent, but at the same time, people can't be trusted to maintain themselves a level of decorum and professionalism. So now the province has had to come down and say, hey, look, this is the level. It's no different than asset management. Municipalities and people couldn't get it through their head that, hey, we need to manage our assets and things cost money to replace. The province had to come down and mandate common sense, right? So the reason we're in this position is because of the behavior of elected officials.
Councillor Walt?
I have one very, very, very serious concern with the legislation that's being passed. I don't have a problem with mandating code of conduct. I don't have a problem with them being the same across the board, so that the ombudsperson or the minister can equally look in and see what is going on. I do have a problem on point 5. Sanctions can be recommended by an investigator. We don't actually have a physical copy of that proposed code of conduct in front of us, but I did look it up online. And if we could have that on our next agenda, I would like to go further on that, so everyone's on the same page about what point I'm upset about.
Right. The legislation hasn't passed yet. Do you guys want it?
I would like a copy of it so everyone can see it. There is a point in that legislation that says, at the minister's discretion, elected members can be removed from office or removed from their ability to attend meetings at their discretion. That has nothing to do with the code of conduct. That has nothing to do with her.
And you're wanting to be more like, if the investigation is found to be breach of code of conduct within these.
One bad minister, yeah, if it's about the code of conduct, I don't like the fact that one minister can say, I don't like what your municipality is doing, by election for mayor. That's a serious problem for me.
I agree with you on that, because where it gets scary is the fact that now the provincial government's allowing political parties to run in this next election. So, for instance, you have somebody, you say the next mayor that gets elected runs under the Conservative banner. NDP government, they get into a measuring contest, and the end.
You don't even need that contest going on. All they need to say is, I'm the minister and that's not you. That totally voids the purpose of municipal elections, in my opinion. And to silence elected officials who maybe aren't even, maybe they say something against the code of conduct, but that process should need to be followed. And to prevent elected people from voting or attending meetings, or to continue in office on the discretion of one person, is a serious concern. That's
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you would like to have that brought back on the next agenda for discussion.
yes. If we could get, because I know I've read it, but I would like it if it went to everybody, and then we can.
Can I get a seconder on that? Seconded by Councillor Rabel. Any discussion on bringing that back? All those in favor?
Oh, Councillor Rabel has.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe I should. I apologize, Mayor. Chair. So essentially, I wonder what the timeline is, because this has been, I believe, introduced in the provincial legislature.
Yeah.
So the clock's probably ticking, because they'll go through their readings and whatnot.
My understanding is the province wants this in place before the next election.
Yeah, so this clock is ticking down.
They want feedback.
I think they've got the answers on this one.
No, it's like everything else from the provincial government, roll it out last minute, and we don't want your feedback.
Questions regarding the amendments? I think you can send it in, but
And my apologies just on the feedback that UBCM did put out a release today saying, I think that this has been a matter of concern for some UBCM member municipalities, and that this responds to UBCM's advocacy on this topic over the years. So there's been endorsement from UBCM. Sorry for interrupting.
it also hits at the philosophical point. There has to be a level of parliamentary privilege in any elected position so that you're able to interrogate the truth, even at the risk of offending somebody, so that you can actually get to the core of something, right? And that gets, if somebody in an elected office isn't the right fit, the democracy wheel turns and they get voted out. That's how it's always worked. And so it's either municipalities get to function in the best interest of their communities with the people that have been elected by those communities, or the province just has some absurd department below it, and we all just get reabsorbed into the province, and we actually shouldn't be bothered with any of this. So I see it as an actual.
I think the province has already had that idea.
I honestly see it as an existential governance threat to municipalities, because it's one more further incursion by the province into municipal jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes too far. I think that the code of conduct's already, I have my own disagreements with them, but this is just too centrally planned.
Yeah. This is my last point on this. Yes. So I did have a conversation with, I won't say who, but someone in government about this, and it didn't help me feel any better about what's going on. I feel like this is a document disguised as a code of conduct that really is there. Well, I'll put it this way: the truth loves to be questioned, and no matter how you question it, if it's the truth, it will prevail. If you disagree with this provincial government, with this code of conduct, there's that one line. I do not have faith that if a municipality or a member disagrees with what the province is doing, that they will oust them. Because it's not about their behavior, it's not about that sort of thing, it's at the minister's discretion.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I'd be interested in reading it when it comes back. Can I call the question, then all those in favor of that being on the next agenda? Okay, wonderful, perfect. Okay, moving on to item 10.7. So, pursuant to section 346 and 349 of the Local Government Act, the Council of Village Pooskapee hereby consents to the adoption of the Regional Parks Conversion and Service Establishment Bylaw number 2601-2026. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Wall. Thank you. Discussion. Councillor Rabel.
So I'm trying to get to the core of it. They're just trying to take Parks and Rec and cleaning up the waterways and whatnot and move it from a service prescribed within letters patent from 1976.
No, they're trying to
into an
take
actual
it
service.
out of the letters patent
Yeah.
from 1976
Yeah.
and move it into a bylaw.
As
So
a
it's-
service.
So it's easier to, oh look, time's up. I'm kidding. So rather than it being Latin, like letters patent focused, it's got a bylaw, and that just makes it easier to, run things. Everything's dead. Are we still recording at least? Ah, definitely, right there. Yes, so it makes it easier for, getting it in front of the board, it makes it easier for financing, it makes it, it'll have its own function,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yes.
So therefore, as it moves from letters patent to service as a function of, and then within a service bylaw for the regional district, the regional district has already provided parks and their maintenance and all this other stuff, and it's under the general revenue of the regional district, is my understanding.
Yeah.
What are the potential impacts to the village of Pooskoopi as this moves from that one category to this other category? Really, at the end of the day, is it an increase in cost? Is it everyone under a service area? Is it differences in how the bylaw versus the
My
legislation?
understanding is that for the village, there really is no impact, am I correct in that?
I honestly haven't sunk my teeth into this file.
Yeah.
Like if you folks want.
My understanding is that this is step one, so they're consenting to move it in to the bylaw. The bylaw has been established. I don't even think they've established the bylaw yet. Oh yeah, no, it is here. I don't know.
The main purpose for the bylaw is to convert the Regional Parks Authority from a service
Yeah.
authorized by supplementary letters patent to a service is to authorize by establishing bylaw. So theoretically, they're conveying the repeal of municipal act authority into.
Yeah.
My question to this though is within the village of Pooskoopi's boundaries, we do not have any regional
No.
district parks or parkland, so.
Who's Park? Like,
Whose park, yeah, but that's ours, it's not regionally maintained, we maintain that, we pay for that.
They might have regulatory authority under this
So-
bylaw.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say that might be the only thing, but I know it's in regional
That's
district
separate.
land, but we administer that park, we manage it. Like the Parks Department Parks and Rec Department, the Parks Department, the regional district doesn't touch it, they have nothing to do with it.
That's right.
So that's why I'm just kinda curious why they need us to
The folks are.
endorse this when it.
Yes, Councilor Boyle, you're very excited.
So I spoke with one of the regional directors about this, because like, what is it? Why are we doing this? Basically, the letters patent define, how I understand is letters patent define them, like confine them to do, when it comes to parks, this is exactly what you can do,
Yes.
and it restrains what the regional district can do with parks.
Yes.
And if they want to change how those things are being managed, or where the money's coming from,
Which I understand, but what I don't understand is how come us as a village have to approve this when this is the only thing that's
because we
ever
are a
come back
member
to us?
municipality of the Peace River Regional
That's what
District.
we have represented
Prior,
for.
which we were a signatory to this in the 1970s, so for them to change it, we're kind of part of that deal.
Just, yeah, I'm confused
Not on
with
the-
why this is coming to us, because we have a representative that sits on the board.
But
This
it's
is
not
a regional district board issue, it's not necessarily a village issue.
It's both. It's a regional district issue, but because
We're assigning on the letter patents from
so
1976.
to change that letters patent,
We
to
have to
remove
agree.
that, we also have to agree. So even though it's kind of a gray, it's a weird area with that, I don't fully get that, yes, we have regional board directors here and a regional board director that sits
So
there.
what-
They're not using the same language. This is a service conversion. They actually need the municipal corporation to consent to it.
Yes.
It's a direct statutory reference in the LGA. I'm remembering it now.
Oh,
So if council wants, we could send a letter to them just asking for reassurance regarding the graveyard and the Poos
well, I'm
Park.
not worried about that, I'm just not, because it's,
Yeah.
from my understanding of this is to deal with regional functions. Neither one of those are regional functions, so that doesn't
Yeah.
matter. What I'm curious about is why us as a council
So this is a
is voting on a
statutory.
regional function when that's a regional district
If
issue.
you guys are on behalf of your electors, you're saying, because this is a regional requisition, I believe the proposed maximum annual requisition is 1.2 million, or 0.6 cents per thousand of taxable value. So like all residents across a large participating area would be participants in this because they're converting the service. there's a mechanism within the LGA that permits the RD to dispense with any referendums and convert the service from the old, configuration to the new one.
Oh, okay, so if they give municipality support, then they don't have to go to a referendum for it. If all the municipalities say no pound sand, then they'd have to go to a referendum.
Or I think either one does. They have to go to a referendum.
Because we're signed on to it, we have to agree for them to change it.
They didn't say that. I don't know that they explicitly outlined that in the letter, but I think that's what they're probably going for here.
Oh, okay.
I bet on it, basically.
Okay, Councillor Ravel?
Yeah, it's dealing in the letters patent Division XBAI, so 18 regional parks and 19 controlled noxious weeds and other growths and whatnot. My understanding is it'd actually be pulling it out of there. It'd probably stay within the letters patent because you can't really change that unless you want to change other things. But anyways, the bylaw, we are a participating area as a signatory. This appears to have been run through the board at the regional district, and now it's for our consideration. Given that this is actually a fundamental change ultimately to the governance of the regional district in the sense of it moving from letters patent to a bylaw for a service area, should we not offer the opportunity to the public for their input? Do we have a breathing room of time? I understand that it only takes 2/3 of the member municipalities, member areas in the confederation of the regional district to pass this, but do we have some time to not just absorb this and approve this now and send back their official written approval? And can we not lay this before the public so that they have time to consider this as well? We have some breathing room here because this is quite a complex, nuanced thing. I understand its intent, but this is like technically a fundamental change. So we should put this before the public.
Yes.
Your worship, I don't know that they had a deadline stipulated in their letter here, but I think you guys kind of have an important, there's a statutory part here, I think they want consent from all the participants in order to dispense with the referendum process that would be necessary to convert the service. So I think the strategy here is that they're saying, can you on behalf of your electorate provide this consent? You could perhaps ask the RD, if they'd be willing to run a certain amount of engagement or consultation with the public in order to do that. I think probably if they're putting a package together for municipal affairs for the conversion of the service anyway, they will need to demonstrate that they've made efforts beyond just simply withholding consent, because I believe the minister has the option on whether or not they need to be satisfied that the public's generally aware. There's some statutory texts that are outlined.
My understanding is that this actually went out on public communications 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. After this meeting, it would have gone out through our communications department at the BRD. I'm pretty sure it was put onto their website and onto their Facebook page, because I remember seeing something about it. Because my understanding, looking at it again now, is this is regarding the aquatic harvest program and the business cases for it. They're not able to currently do that, and they're having severe issues with funding the aquatic harvesting for Swan Lake and all those other lakes. So by moving this will allow aquatic harvesting activities in regional lakes to allow the program to be funded through Function 200 regional parks. Right now it's not being funded through the regional parks function. It's being funded through a separate area, and that's creating issue. This is more of a funding thing. That's why the bylaw is being created, if I remember correctly.
Well, then it would be much easier, your worship, if it were tied up in a bylaw, letters patents, it's a contorted process.
Yeah. So this was to actually put in aquatic harvesting, because they've been having issues funding it. Yes.
My suggestion would be that we communicate with the regional district to clarify any potential impacts to our exclave properties, like the village park, like the Poos Park and the cemetery and any other, areas that the village of Poos Koopri so happens to own, yet are technically within the regional district. I think that the responsible thing to do would be to clarify if there are no impacts at all. It's essentially the same de facto thing between letters patents to manage the parks versus within a bylaw, that so be it. But we do have our due diligence to consider that, especially as this is technically a fundamental change.
So the recommendation that's on the floor is for us to, let me just go back up, is to consent to the adoption of the regional parks conversion and service establishment bylaw. So That's the recommendation on the floor. We could still consent to it, but then ask for a letter from them stating that this is no impact, if that's what council would like. Yes, Councilor Rabble.
I think as with any decision, it would be best to pursue the facts first and then make a decision based off those facts. As well, if we had exclusive and discrete boundaries where all our properties were inside the corporate limits, then it is what it is. But we actually have parks that so happen to be outside the village boundary, and we should take all into consideration to ensure that that is the same relationship going forward, and that there are no undue or unknown consequences to the alteration here.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Whittle.
Just out of curiosity, I'm just, that, you know, you can tell me to pound sound, but I'm just kind of curious why we're getting this in correspondence instead of under new business.
My thinking was it was a letter from the RD rather than like an actual report, you know. I'm not the author of it or anything like that. So.
Okay, no, I was just kind of curious because yeah, they're asking us to vote on, like I said, they're asking us to vote on something that ultimately we have no control over.
Well, you are like by statute, you know, the process there. If you guys don't consent, I'm pretty sure they have to go to a referendum.
Yeah, like Councilor Rabble said, I'd like a little more information on this because what they're asking for versus what they actually want to do with it, I think needs a little more.
But invite them to a meeting I'm hearing, right?
Sure.
That could be a possibility.
I'd like to make the motion to invite the Peace River Regional District to do a delegation regarding this proposal, and further that delegation provide information specifically regarding the impacts to Foos Park and our cemetery.
Okay, can I get a seconder for that? Seconded by Councilor Rabble. Thank you. Yes.
I know this is a really nitpicky mapping thing, but we might actually own some properties along the river and whatnot that are technically in the regional district. So any other properties outside of municipality boundary
Sure.
is the proposed amendment.
So do you want me to just not reference Foos Park and the cemetery, or do you want me to say Foos Park, cemetery, and any other properties outside of village boundaries?
Yes.
Option B.
I'd go any properties that affect the village's interest.
I like that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Whatever you guys do, I want to do it.
Option C.
I like option C. I second that.
Because there might be properties, because like we own a couple little pieces here and there out in the
Yeah.
But moreover, you folks are a participant in this service. You know, it's your interests don't extend only to the properties that you own. You know, your interests would be the service that the RD is undertaking on all residents' behalf.
Okay, so we'd like to see them come and explain it to us regarding properties with our interest. Yes?
Yeah. But can we add specific, like as like a little bracket or something, Foos Park and the cemetery?
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna call the question on that. All those in favor? That's unanimous and carried. Okay, so the recommendation is still on the floor though, that we consent. So are we voting?
I'll make the motion that we table this to get more information.
I second that.
Seconded on being tabled, thank you. Discussion regarding tabling? All those in favor? Unanimous and carried, thank you. I just needed that. All right, moving on to resolutions done, bylaws. 12.1 has been moved, so 12.2.
Council adopt the revitalization tax exemption program bylaw number 10872026 as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Rabble. Discussion? Councilor Rabble?
This had come before this body previously, and I appreciate staff's work in amending this, and I'm excited to see the uptake, and then the future review of it. I'm excited, let's see it, let's build this community together.
Yeah, I'm excited. They did, Taya did a fantastic job. High five to Taya.
We will put out a press release tomorrow, once you folks, if you folks adopt this, we'll put out a press release announcing the economic development plan that you guys have and the adoption of this bylaw. We have 2 businesses that we think are probably interested in accessing the
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Okay.
I'm just excited that the SO has been rebranded now to.
Yeah.
They rebranded
Gas
to what?
station
They're
use
now
signs.
Canco.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
They got all the new signs.
Yeah, they just did that today, so
Okay, all right. I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? That's unanimous and carried. I'm excited to see.
You're good.
We're joining ourselves, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, all right, moving on to administrative reports. So, I motion that we receive 13.1, 13.2, 13.3, and 13.4 for information. Seconded by Councilor Whittle. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to the staff for all of their work on getting these reports done, especially Public Works, because you guys have been so busy already, so the fact that you guys that was pretty impressive.
Thank you to Public Works giving up their, coming in on Easter weekend to, you know, get the water flowing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And Mr. Malkinson as well.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I think Mr. Malkinson hasn't had a day off since he got hired, but.
Pretty much. I am currently sick. I did think about coughing on his computer mouse just to make him take a day off, but.
I was hired the day I was hired, your worship.
Oh,
Every day is just.
my God.
I've got a shovel in my truck if you want to borrow it.
Yeah.
I did somebody tell you that story, that there was a resident, this was kind of neat, we were trying to bust out a culvert that was being really, really annoying, and a couple of residents came from outside their house and
Should I leave this one?
lent us their little sump pump.
No.
No, that's it.
Okay.
They lent us their sump pump to help drain the culvert itself, and they lent us an ice pick and a small hand shovel. It was pretty neat to see folks offering their help, but offering help to their neighbors as well. I think that's speaks a lot to what kind of community Goose is. Speaking of trying to help other people out. So.
That's wonderful. Okay. And I have a question, then all those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried. So, moving on to reports, Councillor Johnson for waived notice. So Councillor Rabble, what have you been up to?
Okay, there is an AGM for the Northern Heritage Trails on April 24th. Unfortunately, due to a conflicting appointment, I won't be able to attend that. So I'm just wondering how we should proceed. Ask for the minutes and information, or somebody else.
What day is it, sorry?
April 24th.
Yeah, I think I had something going on that.
So I'm just wondering if somebody else would be able to attend.
Is it a via Zoom thing?
I think it's in
Probably
person
not.
thing in Fort St. John.
They're an old-fashioned group.
I think it's at whichever museum had the spot available.
I might be able to squeeze it in, actually. I may be able to make that work. I think I originally had something going on, and now it's been, hang on, I have two calendars. My whole life.
I'm just putting it out there, you know.
Yeah,
So that's a piece. There's lots of emails, and I'll send that over.
Yeah, send me the information, and I think I had something and now it's canceled, so I may be able to actually go. So let me know, and if I can, I will definitely drive up.
And I appreciate that.
If I can't make it, I will email all of you and let you guys know I can't, and if anybody else would like to go on our behalf.
Yeah, I won't be available. I'm booked.
I will not be available as I will be getting my wisdom teeth removed that day.
And I'm the one driving, so that's why.
Yeah, no.
I didn't want to disclose.
Currently, what was under April 24th is gone, so I must have cleared it, or else it would have been removed, or I'm double booking myself. Either way.
Mystery booking, right?
Mystery booking, yeah.
In any case, worst comes to worst, we can always ask for the minutes and kind of an understanding as to that, and we could provide some information, and I can work with staff on that as well.
I will definitely try to.
Yeah, so anyways, that's just a piece there for one of the portfolios. Other than that, it's, you want snow and you want water, but you also don't want it as well. I'm sending my thanks and appreciation to staff and all the folks involved with working to clear the streets and the ditches. It was a lot all at once, right? And so clearly we need to continue our work to look at the system and see what we can do to continue to improve it. And then there was some unfortunate bits, and I tried to help some folks and on and on. It's interesting. Anyways, it's interesting to see where it was at. And then from this, well, we'll just keep moving forward and we'll figure out how to improve it. I think we're more into the wetter years than the drier years, which is, good to prevent forest fires, but bad because of flooding. So, you pray for rain and then you're upset when it gets your hay wet. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So anyways, I think I had some more pieces to that, but anyways, that's a general piece.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Councillor Wall.
There's a Young Agrarians meeting happening on April 11th at the Demet Hall. If there's any young farmers or young people who want to learn some gardening tips, what grows, what doesn't, all these sorts of things, that'd be more sustainable. That it will align well with one of our strategic priorities, which is drought-resistant crops and drought-resistant landscaping. They're doing a session.
We can send some staff here to make sure those maple trees don't die out.
It seems like an interesting session. I'm not sure if I'll be able to attend, but it's something that's open to anyone from the South Piece in BC or Alberta. And I think it would be really good if as many people from the public wanted to go, you can sign up online. I think it's either free or very close to free. It might be $5 or $10 or something. I think it's free.
I think it's free actually, yeah. It just starts at a bad time, but yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's free.
Maybe it's a donation for coffee or something. I don't know.
No.
I think it's bringing up public.
And it's at 2 p.m. Alberta time, because I remember they're.
Oh, it's
Yes,
Alberta time.
It's Alberta time.
They're an hour ahead of us.
Yes, it's 1 p.m. our time, 2 p.m. Alberta time. There is a provincial budget consultation happening in Dawson Creek. This is the first time in a few years that they've actually come up to do a budget consultation in the north. If you are a resident and don't like that there's an $18 billion deficit,
Or the Taylor Bridge isn't included.
or the Taylor Bridge isn't included in the budget, or that there's PST on professional services, or anything you could.
Or you just love the budget and you're excited about it.
I don't know anyone who, I have yet to meet someone who likes the budget, but if you are that person, I'd love to meet you. That is happening that is in June. You have to register. As of right now, as of this morning actually, there's only, I believe it's at the Co-op Mercer Hall, and there's only one person registered.
It's budgeting is super exciting.
It's not uncommon, your worship, for governments to send delegates, to those to speak on behalf of. If you folks did want to send somebody, I can try to offer some speaking notes or some relevant points that might be able to be emphasized. I have participated in those, in the budget open house. I participated in one that was held, I think, in 23 or 24, so I might be okay to assist.
And what day is that one?
Oh gosh, it's in June.
Dawson too, so
It's in Dawson. I can get you the date. Right now, off the top of my head, I know it's in June. There is information regarding that on social media for the province, which is, if you follow that,
June 15th.
June 15th.
I bet you we're gone. June 15th. Oh, I just get back from keeping it rural. Yeah, what time is it on June 15th?
And what?
Yeah.
While Mr. Malkinson continues with that, I've been in contact with a member of the press who got me in contact with someone from the Ministry of Transportation, and they're under the impression that we're approved for both pedestrian crossings. So I relayed the message that it would be great if their staff could get in contact with our staff to tell us formally that we are approved and good to go, because that being said on one end and being told we're denied on the other end is a little bit frustrating. So,
Your Worship, we have not been told that we are denied. We have been told that the crosswalk on 52 and Highway 2 has been approved, and I had a call 2 days ago with the province about this, but that the crosswalk on 52 and Highway 2 has been approved, and that a memo has been issued by the ministry engineers to begin the design of the improvements to that intersection, pedestrian improvements to that intersection. 51st Street, however, still needs to be reviewed by engineers, and that that a memo has not been issued by ministry engineers to support improvements at that location.
Which one are you talking about? The one at the school?
Redwood.
Oh, the one I
School's
really
good.
want is the
School's
Redwood
good.
the one that needs to happen, yeah, I know.
Redwood's apparently not complete yet.
See, Redwood's the one that we really want, because at least during school hours, they have a crossing guard for the kids' safety out there, but there's nothing stopping them.
I've been
brought that to the province's attention too, that there is a crossing guard there and there isn't one, at that location, and that we see that as a higher risk space. But yeah, even actually my thinking, because I'm always trying to think about how we can shorten timelines on stuff, because it seems my full-time job is slowing stuff down in this organization. But the thinking was that upcoming meeting provide an update to council on some of the feedback that I got from the ministry most recently, and see if council is interested in provisionally permitting me to offer the budget allocation for intersection improvements to the province to help speed their consideration process along. What's been mentioned is that at the intersection at the school there, that the province is obviously going to manage that project, and the funding is available to undertake that improvement. in this year, if all goes well. Whereas, if there are delays in timelines in either measuring or receiving a memo from highway engineering, that could potentially delay the improvements for the Redwood to a following year, which I know is totally not what you folks want to see, so.
At least getting moving on it, like we've made more progress in the last 6 months since September since we talked to the minister than we've made in the last how many years?
I think political will has gone a long way in this regard. I do think it's high on their priority list, and they seem quite responsive and interested in moving it forward. But no memo has been issued by highway engineers yet, and that's apparently the barrier.
Both the Minister of Transportation and the Parliamentary Secretary for Transit are thoroughly convinced that we're approved for both. So, and that they're both will go ahead. So, do I need to make a motion maybe for staff to reach out maybe to one of their offices directly?
To the minister?
Yeah, because if the minister says it's approved and it's
Duncan has his bathroom, James has his bathroom line. You can just phone him right when he's in the.
I think it might
I
be.
have no follow-ups on what
Everybody
You
knew,
don't wanna know.
back in the old days, if you had Elvis's bathroom line, you were like, it's in it.
They are both dead convinced that it's approved. So I don't know if there's a disconnect between what the minister says and what their staff do.
I don't think you need a recommendation, I don't know, Duncan, do you want a recommendation, or are you good to just?
Do you want me to reach out to the minister's office and say, hey, are you sure that your staff are correct? Or
Yes.
I know, that's really.
Yes, because I had an awkward conversation about that. How are things going? Aren't you guys excited?
I don't think it's an, are you sure your staff are correct? It's, hey, I have my counsel saying both are currently
Looking for
approved.
clarification.
I'm looking for
I like
clarification.
that one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
However you have to do it.
Council's looking for clarification. I know one's definitely approved, but there's a bit of a holdup on the other one. Is this one approved, yes or no? This one's the most important one, the one that we're waiting on.
Think of the children.
Do you need a recommendation for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does a child need to get ran over at that intersection to get across?
Well,
I'll put that in the recommendation.
Please
No,
don't.
I'm just.
I have two.
I make the recommendation that Duncan reach out to the minister's office seeking clarification on the approval of both or just one of the Blinky Light crosswalks. Can I get a second?
Boom.
Seconded by Councilor Wall. Can you make sure it says Blinky Light? Because I just love calling it.
Yeah, you have to put blinky lights in quotation.
This is our thing. It's our Blinky Lights.
Either the minister or the parliamentary secretary for transit will understand that reference.
Okay, all those in favor? I think it got approved because they also like the term Blinky Light.
That's what happens when I ask the minister for a blinky light and he goes, a blinky light?
Yeah.
That's right.
Alright, anything else, Councilor Wall?
I helped a couple residents with their yard flooding, but maybe other than that, I think we're good to go.
Okay. Councilor Whittle, what have you been up to?
So this last week, last week, I met with the RCMP detachment commander and just discussed some of the upcoming staffing issues that they're going to have with FEMA. Also asked about, because I noticed on social media a couple comments people made about the uptake of RCMP and Foos, and you assured me that it's not an uptaking crime and Foos could be what it is it's with the nice weather brings people out of their homes. So it's the same people that have been consistently, involved with the RCMP, just they hibernate more in the wintertime than they do in the nicer weather. So as we're coming into the nicer weather in spring, just a reminder for people to make sure that they keep everything locked up and secure. I have seen the RCMP. I've also been out and I've done some more increased policing in the school zones as well, so some people over there. Other than that, I also touched base with the Legion earlier this week, or last week. I touched base with them. And yeah, they're moving forward with getting their insurance and all that set up and making sure they all have the proper insurance, and we're looking forward to making sure that their kitchen is compliant with the villages and the province's fire regulations. So they're making some good progress on that. I was supposed to attend a museum meeting here 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I was sick that night. I did touch base with Les afterwards, and they're moving forward with business as normal. As they've had their budget approved, and I'm going to have to touch base with him again here in the next week. So I'll have to go to Walmart. I'll probably run into Les. That seems to be what I see them all the time. Either that or when I'm checking my mail. And then, yeah, other than that, that is about it that I've been up to. Yeah, it's really, very much looking forward to getting the digital system up and running for council meetings and having a tablet to read agendas on, because the old iPhone screen's a little small to try and read, and I noticed as I get older that it's harder to read. So I need to start putting on my glasses, or I need a bigger screen. So yeah, other than that, that's all I got.
Okay, wonderful. All right, I'm emailing the AGM thing right now. Okay. Yeah, I totally found, I was like,
Hands on the back.
Oh, yeah.
I just emailed her asking her to send me the information. Yes. So it's been a very interesting couple of weeks. One really great thing that happened is myself and Mr. Malkinson met with the new president of the Seniors Hall. We discussed some grant opportunities and some upgrades to the Seniors Hall. I then connected her with our grant writer, Andy Ackerman. I don't know if she's responded. I am going to reach out to her to make sure that the email I used was correct and that she did receive the information, but I did send him a list of things that they're looking to have upgraded or done or repaired at the Seniors Hall, so he is already on the lookout for grants. I'm also going to be working with the Seniors Hall president to draft a donation letter, so Mr. Ackerman can begin going out to oil and gas as well. And then also I traveled with my family for the Easter weekend, but of course it was with all the flooding that we had, I did spend a lot more time on the phone than I planned. Just really kind of connecting with residents who had concerns regarding flooding and water pooling around their properties. I had the opportunity to connect with Mr. Malkinson a couple of times and check in with how he was doing and how Public Works was. I'm not sure if this body knows, but we did have some of our volunteer firefighters even out steaming, just with how busy the entire weekend was. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to our Public Works crew, Mr. Malkinson, and all of our volunteer firefighters who came out this Easter weekend and gave up time with their families to steam and support our community during a very difficult time. Without those people coming out and sacrificing time with their family to support our community, we would have been in a much worse position on Monday morning. So the work that each and every single one of them did was extremely impactful. So huge thank you to them, huge thank you to you, Mr. Malkinson. I know if our community was aware of the work that you all put in this weekend, they would be thankful as well. So thank you. Yeah, I've just really been figuring out a lot when it comes to our drainage and some of our pooling water. Connected with a resident Monday night in my nice guppy boots and went over to her house and checked it out. So honestly, it is a very difficult time of year. It's looking like it's gonna be +10 tomorrow, +10 on Friday. So
More melt.
there is going to be a lot more melt. I would also like to add that just because you don't see Public Works out on your street doesn't mean that they're out. They've been doing a lot of work down at the lagoon, making sure all the water that comes from up here is successful and it's outfall out there. So I know there were some residents that had made comments about the staff working over the weekend. I would just like to say staff don't have any choice. When they're needed, they come out, and just because you don't see them on your street doesn't mean that they're not out working all week. We have a very intricate lagoon system here in Pouce-Coupe because we're a very small municipality, and our lagoon takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and so I'd like to recognize that as well. So that's what I've been up to. All right, moving on to question period. Nobody's here. So I'd like to make the recommendation that council move to in-camera as per section 91K, 91C, 91B, and 91G of the community charter. Seconded by Councillor Wall. All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. We're going to take a short recess before the meeting. Wait for Mr. Malkinson to turn off the video so we can could all stop.